Well, good afternoon. I'm your host, Spiritwalker, here on Preparing for the Collapse. So glad you guys could join me today. You can see the Skoolie Park there in the background. And I just been out here cutting firewood. And then, of course, after you cut it, you got to take your trusty axe and you got to split it all. So it's about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours work. Not that big of a deal. But it's something that has to be done now that it's cold here on the prairie. And we're still in northern Arizona, and you can see how beautiful it is. You can see the Skoolie Park back there. It's nice and quiet out here. It's peaceful. It's a very sunny day, but we've had some pretty high winds. And I say winds because it's been more than one day, but the wind itself has been very powerful over the last couple of days, 3 or 4 days in a row. We've had uh, two tropical systems come up from the Pacific and come across Mexico and come up through the bottom of Arizona, and then sometimes way up here in the Flagstaff region, we do get some of the rain and wind. In this case, we got a little bit of the rain and just a whole lot of the wind. But what happens is whenever 60-mile-an-hour winds come through here, it blows over all of the dead pines. And so it gives us a chance to come out here and cut some firewood because now that it's colder, we've been using a wood stove in the schoolie quite a bit. But it's just all in a day's work, and I love cutting wood. I love using the steel chainsaw. We have an MS-250 steel chainsaw, and I've used this chainsaw, the very same one before, in the past many years ago, and it's never let me down. I've used it to cut 12, 18-inch round trees, clear up to 18, and good splitting axe. Now this is a shorter handle axe. This is the Fiskars X17, and I bought this on Amazon. You can buy it in a lot of the stores locally. I don't have any affiliation with the Fiskars company. I just wanted to show you that living in a schoolie, you got to have certain tools if you're going to be living off the grid. Now, we live 100% off the grid. You guys know that. But this short handle axe, I just want to say I'm impressed with it. It's good to have a short handle axe when you do your splitting of your logs. It's listed as a splitting axe. It does have a built-in maul right here so that it really does a good job. Both sides are done the same way, and so this is good for splitting. But it's listed on Amazon and probably on the Fiskar site too. I don't know. I've not been there as a cutting axe. Basically, you can cut down trees and cut up logs with this. And when it's sharp, it does a heck of a job, y'all. So if you're looking for a good splitting axe and for off-grid living, and you cut your own firewood, you split your own logs, sometimes you may cut down some smaller trees, I would suggest the Fiskars X17 just because I've used it. And I've used the longer handled Fiskars many years ago, and I was impressed with that one as well. It's a little bit heavier actually, but I like the short handled better because you can get a harder swing with it. And what that only means is that you don't have to swing it so hard. Honestly, you can swing it with just 50% of what you would on a large log, and it's going to bust through the log pretty easy because you get more torque. It's physics, folks. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But the short-handed axe, I can split the logs a lot easier. And I mean, this may not even been 2 hours work, but there's enough wood here probably to last us about a week in the schoolie. And just wanted to show you guys what we do living off the grid out here and how beautiful it is, and say hello and let you know that I got a brand new camera. How's it look? Not bad, huh? Or outside, it may have some quality distortions outside, but inside it's very clear and has a built-in camera and everything. Sure, you know all about that, but I went ahead and got nice mics too with the wind blocks and all that so that I can go at least 65 feet and I can make some really good videos. So looking forward to using the new camera and the new microphones and making some awesome cooking videos, some awesome herbal tincture and herbal product making videos, canning videos, wood cutting videos, and just talking to you, about living off the grid and being self-sufficient and living a sustainable life. It's a hard life. Everybody says, well, you live a simple life. Yeah, it's simple living. It's not simple work. It's actually a lot more work involved in living a simple life. However, I'm going to tell you this. Uh, and I want to remind folks, and maybe some don't know, but if you've read some of my Preparing for the Collapse books, which is available on Amazon and anywhere you can buy books, I'll put the link for the entire 6 book series, Preparing for the Collapse, in the description right down there. And those are the books that I've written during the times that I've lived off the grid. Now, I have been off the grid for a number of years. I've lived on homesteads, I've been to intentional communities, I've lived the van life for about 4 years all over the country off the grid. I now live the Skoolie life, and I've been doing that for over 2 years now. Even had a good 1 year stint, or close to a 1 year stint, about nine to 10 months in a car, and lived off the grid. And we traveled all over the United States, me and Gypsy Wind, and loved it. But I've been living off the grid, well, clear back to about 2009. I think 2009 is when I first decided to go off the grid and stay off the grid as much as possible. And the reason for that, I just wanted to talk to you and tell you, is because living in society it's just not rewarding. Now, if you look at money as a reward, power, fortune, and fame, yeah, it's pretty rewarding living in society. But what does that get you? Most people will tell you it does not get you happiness. And I know for a fact that it just does not get you happiness. What it does get you is more in debt. And who can't use less debt these days? And it also gives you a mask to put on, because when you don't find happiness in society and living underneath the forced rule of a tyrant government, and understand, folks, we do live under the rule of a tyrant government. Now, it's not as bad as some third world countries yet, but as Preparing for the Collapse would seem, is that we are preparing for what is actually going to be a collapse. So uh, take note on what I'm saying, and understand that yes, things could be worse, but the best way to live is for yourself, for your family. Get your friends involved and grow your own food, make your own medicine, split your own wood, cut your own firewood. Quit paying all of their bills. We have a heating source on this 36-foot 1993 Bluebird Skoolie right there that we are building, and it is a wood stove. Now, I paid $500 for the wood stove. I split wood for free. I come out here in the forest, I cut dead wood, I pick up wood, and that right there we can cook on if we wanted to, but we do use propane um, sometimes. But our wood stove is our heating source, and we do not have to pay a bill to heat our bus and heat ourselves. Okay, we make our own electricity. Right now, it is a generator, and it's because it takes a lot of money to get started on solar. However, that is our plan for the future. But it keeps us self-sufficient, and it is a very sustainable way of living, because there's all sorts of things that come into play when you live in like this. Just for a quick example, when I say sustainable living, the trees regrow. So once they die and fall over and you use them for firewood, they regrow. That's sustainable, as long as you let that happen and you don't cut live trees. Now, what do you do once you burn up all of the wood? Well, you have a stove full of ash, and that ash feeds your garden, and then it feeds the soil, and it builds your soil, and then you end up growing really good food, and then the scraps from that food go right back into the soil, and it's a circle. It feeds the soil, it feeds the bugs, it feeds the plants, it feeds you, and the forest does all of that. That is sustainable living. Okay, and we do not have a footprint that cannot be erased. We don't have a footprint that grows, and we do not trash the forest. We live very quiet, very peaceful, uh, very rewarding way of life when you live off the grid, and when you are sustainable, and when you are self-sufficient. You rely on yourself. We make 100% of the medicines that we use, and we either grow those herbs, trade or buy in bulk, or we come out here in the forest and we forage for them, and then we make our own medicines. Okay, a lot of our food we do buy, and it's because of how we live. We don't have a storage ability for food, but we can still hunt and fish and forage, and we do all of that. That right there cuts way down on today's very high priced grocery bills. But living off the grid, the moral of the story, folks, is that it's extremely hard. It is extremely simple living, but it is extremely rewarding. Way more rewarding than I ever received living in society as part of the societal rat race. I'm 50 years old, okay, and I've been off the grid since 2009, and I've written numerous books, thousands and thousands of articles, uh, just loads of podcasts, loads of websites, and I've taught people too how to do the same thing, because in today's world, living a self-sufficient off-grid way of life is more important than ever, and I'm sure lots of people are going to agree with me, um, especially now. I mean, the United States, the government is shut down right now. Now, somebody might say, "Well, Spirit, the government shuts down every year." Well, it does, if not 100%, 99% of the time. Uh, I'm not sure if it was shut down last year. It probably was, but it was definitely shut down the year before that, the year before that. It's just since my 50 years, I've watched the government shut down just about every single year. And sometimes it goes for days, weeks. We're probably looking at months now because the unstable economy that we live in has just gotten so bad. The world's gotten so bad. And things ain't going to get better, folks. Believe it or not, things are not going to get better. They may get better individually for you because you can make your own way of life by simply saying no and opting out of societal living. Now, I'm going to keep it rated G for YouTube, but you opt out of that stuff. You find ways of making your own money. There's people all around us that need a hand, and they're glad to give you something for it. I said something because living the way we live, living off grid, being self-sufficient, sometimes it's not money that you receive for a job. Sometimes it's a bag of rice. Sometimes it's a third of an elk. So sometimes it's a cord of wood. So it doesn't matter. Money out here is pennies. Yeah, we have to have some money to buy gasoline for the generator, and we don't move the schoolie much, but it takes diesel, and then we still buy some of our food or a lot of our food, but we buy in bulk, so it's cheaper and it lasts longer. But we still have to have money, is what I'm saying. Just not a lot of it. Um, Nowhere near as much as you got to have when you live in society. So, yeah, we do have to have a little bit of money, and we have ways of making money. And if you want to know more about how we are making the money to sustain us, I'm glad to make a video on that. Just let me know in the comments down there that you're looking for ways of working for yourself and you want to become more self sufficient in that aspect. And I'll be glad to make a video on how to make uh, a moderate income, actually, working for yourself. And it helps to have a good internet connection. We do have Starlink, and Starlink is incredible. It don't matter where we park at. We've parked on the beach in southern Texas. We've parked in the mountains of northern Washington. We've we've parked out in the deserts of the southwest United States. We've parked in the forests all over the country. Never once have I ever had a problem with Starlink going down and staying down, or never having a connection or having a really crappy connection. It's never happened. And I'll be very honest with you. I'll be very, what they call that, see through. We pay $165 a month for our Starlink service, but you don't have to pay that because they have different options. And again, I'm not affiliated with Starlink. I'm just telling you, this is how we live. And if you're in a schoolie or you're in a cabin and you're off the grid and you're a nomad or you're a homesteader, you can be online and you can be making money doing things that you love, like this right here, with a good internet connection. And I'm happy to talk about that more. Just let me know in the comments as well. I also want to say, um, this being a new channel and all, it's really hard to come up with ideas for a number of videos. I would like to make a lot of videos, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I would like to make videos for you guys and teach you something or talk to you about something or or just clue you into something. Now, I'm not one of those doom and gloom kind of guys where I do the doom scrolling for you. Uh, but I will mention a few things here and there. I'm all about practical prepping and practical off grid living. Now, I have reasons for what I do, the reasons for how I live, but they are not connected to doom and gloom. They're connected to, well, just done. I've lived a good life. At 50 years old, I'm ex-military. I've worked all over the country. I've done a number of different types of jobs, and I'm just done with that way of life because there is, like I said in the past, there's no reward. Um, it seems like it's a big, never-ending road. It's the rat race, right? And you don't win the race. You just simply race the rest of your life. So I'm not one that's going to end up doing something I don't like till the day I die. I'm going to live how I choose, and this is how I choose to live. I choose to be free. True freedom comes at a cost, and that cost used to be lives. As a veteran, I understand this. But unfortunately, these days, true freedom comes not only through lives in certain situations, but it comes through hard work. Yes. Yeah, that word work. There's a difference between doing a job in society and then doing a job like this, especially for me, because I'm going to tell you this. If you don't love what you do, quit doing it. You don't have to do it. Okay, I'm living proof. You do not have to do it. There are other ways to live. Don't let them get you wrapped up in the disbeliefs, the lies that this is the only way to live. And you have to comply and you have to be a robot. And you have to be a slave because that's a lie. All right, you can opt out. And if you get out of that mindset that things matter, that you got to have all these things to win, all these things to be happy, because I'm going to tell you, when you die, what are you taking with you? My favorite splitting axe? Nope. That awesome schoolie I've spent over 2 years building? Nope. What about my favorite hat here? That's coming with me? Nope. The fact is, when you die, everything you work for, everything you have, stays. You go. That's right. That means you can work your entire life for that awesome, nice car, for that big old house, or maybe just that nice house that's not so big, but sure is expensive because of the view. All those nice clothes and all that expensive jewelry. But when you die, every single thing that you did to receive all of that is gone. It does not go with you. The only thing that goes with you is your mind, not your brain, your mind. Now, I understand I'm getting into the spiritual aspects, maybe a little bit over into the religious aspects, so I'm going to cut that short. I am not a religious person. I am not a political person. I am not a doom and gloom person. I am a practical person. And living this way will bring you happiness. It will bring you rewards. It will bring you health. I'm 50 years old. Hopefully, I don't look it. I don't know. But I don't feel like I'm 50 years old most of the time. Now, if I sit around 3 or 4 days and get lazy, yeah, I really feel that age creeping up on me, guys. But even at this age, you can be out cutting and splitting wood and hauling wood and building a schoolie and carrying heavy rocks to build yourself a path, or cutting a path through the forest, or hiking or hunting. It don't matter. Yeah, you're only as old as you feel, and you're only going to feel old if you make yourself feel that way. But exercise, this is exercise, and something that let more and more people getting less and less of in society, because becoming more of an automated society. What are you doing? What are you doing to stay healthy, to live longer? It takes exercise and it takes good health. Now, you do get exercise and good health living this way. So I just want to say, take care of yourselves, take care of your family. Thank you very much for joining me on a nice little chat today out here in the northern forest. This is the world's biggest Ponderosa Pine Forest. We're only maybe 40 minutes from the Grand Canyon, and I can't tell you how quiet it is out here. And this is all the time. This is all the time. Unless the coyotes howl at nighttime back there, unless the elk call for their mates out that way, unless the owls decide to sit up in them trees right there over the schoolie and hope that I have some chickens running around, which I don't. But it's quiet. Now, yesterday I seen a herd of deer, not more than 300 feet that way, and there's probably about 30 in that herd. Just the most beautiful thing. The same morning, not even an hour before that, out that direction, not more than maybe 400 feet from where I'm standing now, but 300 feet, not even more than that from the schoolie, there was a herd of antelope. And we're talking 60 plus. It was massive. Now, out here in the northern Arizona area, we have elk, we have antelope, we have deer, and we have bear. Yeah, I've not seen any bear, and I've been here in this region for 7 years now, going on 7 years, and I've never seen a bear, but they're here. Um, but where else are you going to see a herd of antelope and a herd of deer that large in the city? Where? Oh, that's pretty rare, if at all. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it was only about 2 months ago that I seen a herd of elk driving out here to our location from town. I know there was, Lord, there was at least 50 elk in that herd. It was large, and that just tells me that we're out here in the wilderness, and this is where nature lives. This is nature, and this is where happiness is, folks. This is where peace is. And if you think you deserve happiness and peace and better health, you're not going to find that in the city. You're not going to find that living on the grid, connected to all those electronics, and paying all them bills, working yourself to the bone to the day you die for the man, and not your husband, not your son, the man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That money might go into your bank account, but it's not your money. The banks are fixing to show you who owns that money. They do. It's just a loan to you. They can take it anytime they want. You don't believe me? Look it up. That's true. It's time to get away from it, folks. It's time to prepare. It's time to get back to our roots. It's time to get back to freedom. Thank you very much for joining me today for this video. I hope I've said something that has spurred a change in your mind for you to seek better health, better happiness, true freedom. And if you need any help, drop a comment down there, because I have a lot of experience and I've got a lot of knowledge, a little bit of wisdom too now. And I'm willing to help. I want to help you. I want to tell you that it's going to be okay, because you're going to make it all right. We're going to all make it okay. I know things are really bad right now in the world, and I know they're about to get a whole lot worse. And I'm not saying that as a guess. I know. Won't tell you what I did in the military to keep it rated G. But take it from me. Get your family ready. Get yourself ready. Get off the grid. Get out of the cities. See you next time on Preparing for the Collapse.